G'day, welcome to another episode of the Pier Review. This is another Dumb Letters, part 3 of our Dumb Letters campaign. And in this one we'll be looking at some letters on topics among others of education, international relations, electric vehicles. Yeah, we'll see how many we can fit in. First up though, some feedback on episode 1. Some people thought I was a little too easy on Wayne McDonald and saying that he was clearly delusional. Well, yeah, I didn't want to really get into that, but yes, Wayne, by saying we Tasmanians must stand in solidarity with our government in a consolidated push for light rail in Hobart, well, yeah, it is a little bit delusional, along with his belief that all these light rail lines exist, because there is no government push towards having light rail in Hobart, completely the opposite in case. But I wanted to give him a little bit of leeway and just concentrate on the actual mechanics of his light rail proposal. Now, the first letter in this episode is apparently on the subject of education, but all I can say is that the writer could probably do with some. This writer is a guy called Brian Kahn, and his letter is entitled Protect Educators.
Federal Education Minister Jason Clare needs to act now and close the gate to this danger to our principals and educators. The government at all levels have listened to the Greens, who believe fairies live at the bottom of the garden, and send this message to parents who pass it on to their children. One example: Iran carried out an attack in Australia targeting our Jewish synagogues preaching on Opera House steps before Israel attacked Gaza. Kill the Jews took government to expel Iran diplomat then Bondi till they acted, i.e. 2 years. The Greens would have allowed Iran to have a nuclear bomb, have allowed our shipping lanes to be attacked in the Red Sea by the Houthi element, etc. The silent majority now see our principals, educators at public and private schools facing danger regularly. Problem schools should have an armed police officer, not security guard, in attendance. The writer can recall when he went to school, you never went home and told your father you got the cane, otherwise you would receive further punishment, and respect your teacher. This was more so when your parent was retired from the services after the war and discipline was apparent. Brian P. Kahn, Bridport.
Wow. Now, first up, we have to ask ourselves again, just who at the Mercury opens this letter, reads it and says, yeah, that's worth publishing. I mean, as a former English teacher, this is what I would have handed back to Brian. But let's unpack Brian's letter. Now, it's ostensibly about, I believe, a recent study about the threats of violence to school principals and leaders in our schools. Now, first up, Brian makes the claim that the Federal Education Minister, Jason Clare, should intervene to protect school principals. Federal education has no influence on what happens in schools. That's a state responsibility. That's why we have a state education department. Jason Clare has no power to protect educators. And who is it that they actually need to be protected from? Now, I don't think Brian actually means this, but his letter says that Iran attacked a Jewish synagogue which was preaching on the steps of Parliament House before Israel attacked Gaza. And then some group called Kill the Jews took on the government and expelled some Iranian diplomats. Which government? And then Bondi till they acted in 2 years. What does that even mean? But reading well between Brian's twisted lines, I think he's saying that teachers in Australian schools are under threat from the Iranians, and it's all down to the Greens. So how do we protect them? Put armed police at each problem school. That'll solve the problem. But which problem schools? The ones that the Iranian diplomats were sending their kids to? Then off on another tangent, Brian harks back to his school days. which I'm guessing are some years ago, probably when this school was operating. He writes that you never went home and told your father you got the cane, otherwise you'd receive further punishment and respect the teacher. God knows we wouldn't want someone with the name Khan to be respecting their teachers. After all, it's the Iranians that the teachers need protecting from. I think it's Brian, not the Greens, who've been playing with the fairies at the bottom of the garden. Now, our next letter is from Stuart Edwards, who has almost as many letters to the editor as Wayne McDonald does, and on the same subject, transportation. Stuart's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet about electric vehicles, and his latest letter is on that topic.
Having done more research, I have gleaned that EVs incur a similar cost as part of the registration fee for an ICE vehicle, contributing to road tax. The inequitable circumstances arise whilst the EV, a considerably heavier vehicle than an ICE, is contributing more to the damage to our national roads. The average weight of a Toyota Canty is about 1,500 kilograms compared to the average weight of an EV being 2,200 kilograms. Fuel excise tax collected from the sale of petrol or diesel is funneled into consolidated revenue and is then channeled into funding repair and maintenance of our national, state, and local road infrastructure. The inequity arises as owners of EVs only partly contribute to the maintenance of roads. Given the surge in the purchase of EVs, it is essential that a means is devised by the federal and state governments for the owners of EVs to contribute to the road maintenance the vehicles are driven on. Stuart Edwards, Mount Stuart.
Now again, you must ask yourself, just like Wayne McDonald's letter calling for the Bridgewater Bridge to be scraped, when he clearly meant scrapped, the sub-editor at the Mercury, when reading this letter from Stuart Edwards, and reading the typo where he refers to the Toyota Canty, surely would have realised that Stuart actually referred to the Toyota Camry, but didn't bother to correct it. Anyway, I mean, is the sub-editor so ignorant of vehicles that they actually thought there was a car called the Toyota Canty, when clearly Stuart was referring to the Toyota Camry? But I digress. Now, Stuart does have a point about the inequity that drivers of diesel and petrol vehicles contribute to the maintenance of road through the fuel excise, whereas drivers of electric vehicles not using fuel do not. The claim that Stuart's making is that electric vehicles, car for car and equivalent size, weigh more than internal combustion engine vehicles because of the weight of the battery. And therefore, car for car, they do more damage to the roads. Now, Stuart cites some data to prove this, so let's check that out. First up, his average weight of a Toyota Camry, Stuart says it's about 1,500 kilos. Or is it? Now, according to the Toyota Australia website, the weight of a Toyota Camry is 1,565 kilos. So Stuart's on the money. But wait, W-A-I-T, the 2026 Toyota Camry, and indeed the previous editions as well, is a hybrid. It is an electric vehicle. Whoops. And it's about 500 kilos lighter than what Stuart claims is the average weight of an EV. Now, to find out a little bit more, we can't just leap to conclusions like Stuart has, because there's a huge range of vehicles out there on the market, from the tiny little BYD Atto 1 up to these Rams, the lightest of which weighs 2,519 kilograms. So we need to actually look at some actual sales data of what vehicles are being purchased, so we're comparing like with like, rather than just randomly comparing alphas with auras. So let's look at the top 5 selling electric vehicles in Australia in 2025 and compare them to the top 5 overall selling vehicles. Now, the top 5 selling EVs totalled 50,997 cars with an average weight of 1,944 kilograms. So Stuart's on the money with his claim that the average EV car weighs 2,000 kilos. And so those top 5 EVs, the 50,997 cars, have a total weight of just over 99,000 tonnes. So what about the top 5 selling cars in total? Well, the second highest selling car was the Toyota RAV4, which is a hybrid. So we won't make Stuart's mistake there, and we'll eliminate the RAV4. So that here we're looking at the top 5 selling petrol or diesel cars of 2025. The Ford Ranger, the Toyota Hilux, the Isuzu D-Max, the Ford Everest and the Toyota Prado. And are you thinking what I'm thinking? Wait, W-E-I-G-H-T for it. A total of 186,958 cars with an average weight of 2,170 kilos and a total weight of almost 406,000 tonnes. So, what does this show us? The average weight of an EV is 226 kilos, or 11% less than the average weight of an internal combustion engine car, based on the vehicles actually sold. And the total weight of the internal combustion engine vehicles sold is more than 4 times the total weight of EVs. So while the EVs don't pay fuel excise to repair the road, they are doing 11% less damage by weight and 400% less damage by quantity. So, sorry Stuart, because of the most popular cars that Australians actually buy, the EVs don't weigh more, either individually or together. Whoops. Our next letter is from Thomas Morgan about the idea of increasing powers of the police.
I do not often disagree with Glenn Pears, but I do regarding increasing police powers to crack down on rising crime rates. Increasing police powers and the militarization of the police are concerning world trends. The police are ordinary people like the rest of us, good and bad, and no amount of training can teach discernment. My personal experiences with the police are no different to my experiences with other professionals. I have had both positive and negative experiences. Regarding crime rates, what are the causal factors? Ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle said poverty is the cause of crime. In my opinion, public safety is a politicized buzzword. Ponder the words of founding father Benjamin Franklin: those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Welcome to the nanny state. Thomas Morgan. Mount Nelson.
Now, first up, I would dispute that you cannot teach discernment. I'm sure that the courses they run here at the Tasmania Police Academy pay a lot of attention to teaching discernment, ethics, and the appropriate action. But I can't see how he goes from that statement to Aristotle's famous quote that poverty is the cause of crime. That's a no-shit Sherlock type of statement, although we're talking real crime investigators here, not fictional ones. Speaking of fictional, I'm wondering which Aristotle made that claim, because there's a lot of pictures purporting to be Aristotle. Maybe we should have a lineup and an identity parade. Thomas closes his letter with a quotation from founding father Benjamin Franklin. Now, in Tasmania, we've got Franklin Square, a town called Franklin, an electorate called Franklin, historic Franklin House, and the magnificent Franklin River. But were those named after our founding father, Benjamin Franklin? No. They were named after Sir John Franklin. Benjamin Franklin, as we all know, but clearly Thomas doesn't, is one of the founding fathers of the United States of America, not the United States of Australia. And his quote, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety," doesn't actually mean what many people, including our Thomas, think it means. Franklin, Benjamin that is, not our founding father Sir John, was writing about a tax dispute between the Pennsylvania General Assembly and the family of the Penns, the proprietary family of Pennsylvania colony, who basically ruled it from England. This was before the Declaration of Independence. And the legislator was trying to tax the Penn family to pay for frontier defence during the French and Indian Wars. And the Penn family kept pressuring the governor to veto it. Franklin felt that this was a great affront to the ability of the legislature to govern, and so he actually meant purchase a little temporary safety, very literally. The Penn family was trying to give a lump sum of money in exchange for the General Assembly acknowledging that it did not have the authority to tax it. So far from being a pro-privacy quotation, if anything, it's a pro-taxation and pro-police spending quotation. It's a quotation that defends the authority of a legislature to govern in the interests of collective security. Completely the opposite of what Thomas is trying to use it for, even if it was relevant to Australia. Our next letter is from Alan Leach, who's ostensibly writing about Donald Trump. Now, the general thrust of Alan's letter is not dumb at all, but he does get his geopolitics a little bit confused.
President Trump is complaining that NATO countries Australia, South Korea and Japan are not providing military aid to his self-proclaimed war in the Middle East. He started it with no approval from the US Congress. The majority of us citizens are not in favor of it. It is causing hardships in so many forms all around the world. It is surprising that he didn't ask China and North Korea for aid. Putin is already involved with the illegal war on Ukraine, or he might have got an invite. Alan Leach. Austin's Ferry.
It's surprising that Trump didn't ask China or North Korea for aid. Putin is already involved in the illegal war on Ukraine, or he might have got involved. Really? Now, Donald Trump is dumb, but not as dumb as Alan Leach. Why didn't Trump ask China for help in the war on Iran? Maybe that's because China is Iran's biggest trading partner, buying 90% of Iran's oil. In 2021, China and Iran signed a 25-year pact to cooperate on security, trade, and limiting the action of Western nations, like the USA. And North Korea? Well, Iran and North Korea, their relationship characterised by long, understanding, often clandestine partnership established way back in the 1970s and deeply rooted in a shared anti-US sentiment and international isolation and military cooperation, particularly in ballistic missile technology. Iran and North Korea have provided military support to Russia in its war against Ukraine. So even if Vladimir Putin did have some time available, he probably wouldn't support the USA and Israel either. That's why, Alan, thanks for asking. So our last letter is from a friend of this channel, or maybe not a friend as such, Dr. Bob Brown. Now, Dr. Bob Brown's letter reads,
Wild means in its original natural state. After referring to the Three Capes track and Overland track, the Mercury editorial, in support of the multi-million-dollar Tyndall Range track, claimed that these tracks have not diminished the wild, they have elevated it. That is nonsense. We can debate until the cows come home whether more gravel or board tracks and helicopter-serviced lodges are a good or bad thing for our own self-interested species, but let's not descend to the absurd claim that such impacts improve nature, wildness, or wilderness. Bob Brown. Signet.
But before we analyse Bob's letter, we need to go a little bit back in time and examine the issues behind and what led up to him writing it. For many years there's been a proposed bushwalk in the Tyndall Ranges on the west coast. The Tyndall Range bushwalk was finally approved, well, it didn't need to be approved, by the federal government under the Environmental Heritage Management Protection Act, and it was being given the tick and it's all going ahead. And before it got the tick though, the Bob Brown Foundation certainly kicked up a little bit of a fuss about it. And the Mayor of the West Coast was moved to say, back in the 1980s, we stopped the damming of the Franklin River on the promise that there would be tourism jobs. And then they want to stop salmon farming on the promise that we'll create tourism jobs. And then when we finally create tourism jobs, they want to stop it. So after Minister Murray Watt's department gave it the go-ahead, Bob Brown and his foundation came out with a statement saying that the World Heritage values of the Tyndall Ranges need to be protected. While the next iconic walk project is managed by the Parks and Wildlife Service, the Tyndall Range where the walk will be located is not actually inside a national park. It's a multi-use area, it's got old mining things, and it's got four-wheel drive tracks, etc. So Bob Brown's claim that the next iconic walk has World Heritage values when it's not in the World Heritage area and not even in a national park, maybe we should rename it the next ironic walk. Hey Bob? And subsequent to that, the Mercury wrote an editorial.
Tasmania's global reputation as a wilderness destination has been built on bold vision and careful stewardship. The proposed next iconic walk in the Tyndall Ranges is a natural continuation of that legacy and one that deserves strong support. From the rugged appeal of the Overland track to the coastal drama of the Three Capes track, Tasmania has proven that world-class walking experiences can both protect and showcase pristine environments. These tracks have not diminished the wild. They have elevated it, giving more people a meaningful managed way to experience landscapes that might otherwise remain inaccessible or vulnerable to unmanaged use. Done right, the next iconic walk will not compromise the wilderness, it will celebrate it.
So where is Bob in his letter? Takes umbrage with the Mercury for falsely declaring something to be wild. He's quite happy to falsely declare something to be World Heritage value. Seems like it's only Dr. Brown who can define what can be said and what words mean. So that's the last letter for this episode of Dumb Letters, but don't worry, there's more still to come and another episode will be on the way sometime down the track. So if you've enjoyed this episode of the Pier Review, Dumb Letters 3, please click like, please subscribe, hit me up in the comments below, feedback on the letters, and we'll see you again somewhere on a pier reviewing something that a pier on a pier should be able to review. Thanks for watching.